Hey there, music world. John here from What's Spinning here tonight to chat about this latest Thundercat record. It's called Distracted. Mr. Steven Bruner, since the early 2010s, has been one of the most eccentric and likable faces in jazz and funk and all the sort of genres that fill in between. And with the golden age of the apocalypse, his debut record, I kind of became obsessed with his sound overnight. It was eclectic, it was heady, it was fun, it was very jazzy, but also was pushing the sounds of jazz and funk very much to the future. It was also bursting with personality. However, I did not have the same thoughts on his follow-up, Apocalypse. While the album definitely had its bright spots, like with heartbreaks plus setbacks, I thought that this record overall was such a huge backstep. The production wasn't as interesting, and a lot of this record just felt jumbled and muddy and just a little directionless for my liking. However, since then, slowly but surely, Thundercat has sort of worked his way back up in my ranks. Beyond Where the Giants Roam, that short little EP he put out shortly after, I still think it's one of his most concise projects. Drunk was fun in parts, but it was also incredibly bloated, and while it had a lot of personality and quirk to it, was very inconsistent. As was his last record, It Is What It Is. That record was certainly more tighter and focused and had great singles like Dragon Ball Do-Rag, but once again, the consistency was really what was holding me back in Thundercat's projects. Now, this is his first work in 6 years, this Distracted record, and leading up to it, I was constantly blown away by how very decent these singles were leading up to this thing, and let me tell you, Thundercat did not disappoint. Candlelight really sets the tone for this entire record. I love the 80s tinged production. You're gonna have to get used to that because it's all over this thing. It's smooth, it's funky, and with Thundercat, you're always going to get some great bass playing. But more than anything, this sounds like a culmination right off the bat. Bits and pieces of the different sounds he's been working with over the last decade. But on a lot of this record, I feel like Thundercat's found the sweet spot, found the correct configuration for these sounds. No More Lies featuring Tame Impala. This is just a collaboration that makes sense. Cosmic grooves, interstellar funk, great vocal work between the two artists as well. I mean, Kevin Parker over that hook just sounds like he belongs. It's effortless, it's cool, it just clicks. Also, really adore She Knows Too Much featuring Mac Miller. This one hits so hard. I love the old school funk. I love the jazzy sort of off-kilter beat, very hip. And the posthumous Mac Miller verse that we get here is so classy. It clicks with this track's sort of humor and quirk and personality perfectly. It's great. Also, we get I Did This to Myself with production from Flying Lotus as well as a guest verse from Lil Yachty. And this track is a little bit of a freak out. It is jazzy. It is funky. It is pretty chaotic. And honestly, I love that. I love this single. I love when Thundercat turns up the weird and makes it sound as decent as this does. Also, Funny Friends featuring A$AP Rocky, one of my favorite tracks here. It's hazy, it's hypnotic, it's almost got some elements of cloud rap to it, which I personally wish we heard more of on the A$AP Rocky record. Thundercat sounds slick though, Rocky sounds right at home. It's one of the smoothest cuts here, as is What Is Left to Say. This one caught me really off guard. I really love this old school throwback sort of 70s R&B ballad style that this track takes on, featuring the Lemon Twigs. Hicksville's own the Lemon Twigs, my hometown heroes. This track is incredibly classy. It is full of love. It is lush. It is beautiful. Now, I will say this, there is a slight dip in focus at times. Like Walking on the Moon, this is where things start to wobble a little bit for me. This just feels like a throwback to some of Steven's most inconsistent material. It's a bunch of ideas just sort of floating around without much room to breathe. We also have this thing called Love featuring Channel Trace, and on paper, this should work, but the energy just isn't here. Thundercat sounds disengaged, and I don't know, Channel Trace is one of the least interesting guest features here. He leaves nothing on the table. He just sort of is there. And ADD Through the Roof just sounds like an afterthought. It's not bad, but like compared to how decent so much of the material on this record is, this is an afterthought for me. That being said though, I do truly believe this might be Thundercat's best record. I Wish I Didn't Waste Your Time is absolutely gorgeous. The synths are silky, the atmosphere just feels limitless. And vocally, this is one of his best performances. On paper, this is Thundercat's best sounding record. It's cleaner, it's sharper, and it's a whole lot more confident too, and that makes me happy. Also really love Anakin Learns His Fate. It's off-kilter, it's cosmic, it's just got that serious goofball sense that Steven brings into his music that I do enjoy. It's a sound that we're familiar with, but a little bit more polished. Also, ThunderWave featuring Willow. My goodness, this is massive. This is the biggest and most explosive sounding track here. It just explodes into this synthy sea the second that this track kicks off. And both of them sound absolutely incredible. This is the most I've been impressed with a Willow performance maybe ever. Pozole is really interesting too because of how stripped down it is. This is really just Steven and his piano, and it works. It's one of the most tender and heartfelt moments here. Great Americans is short, quirky, and a lot of fun, honestly. It's a great reminder also of why Thundercat's personality is a major selling point for his music. And You Left Without Saying Goodbye is the finale that I hoped that we would get. It's dreamy, it's emotional, it's a blend of everything I've enjoyed about this record. And of course, it ends with Thundercat making a joke about starting an OnlyFans and showing some feet. Right on, brother. It is very, very Thundercat, and a great finale. This is honestly one of his better records. I mean, a lot of it, for me, comes down to the production, the sound. A lot of the sounds that he works with here, Thundercat's been doing for a decade now, but they come off a whole lot more confident and clean on this album here. It's funky, it's sleek, and it doesn't take itself too seriously like any good Thundercat project does. Not only that, but his performances and the performances of a lot of his guests on this record really do soar. I'm feeling a very decent 8 on this project, but let me know what you all think down below. If you liked the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, friends.